I recently came across an old clip of Malcolm X essentially scorning liberals, specifically the white liberal. I want to show you this very quick video because I believe that the words that he expressed back then are extremely prophetic today.
There are many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox, and a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to, but the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling, and you take him for a friend.
Wow, that was simply outstanding. Malcolm X to me is an extremely captivating and interesting figure. One who I believe is easily one of the most profound individuals in not just American history, but world history. He's somewhat of an enigma to me. He's just a really, really interesting character. Now, with all that being said, what he had to say there about the white liberal, or just liberal in particular, is extremely accurate, and it's still accurate today. And the reason why I wanted to take this video and speak about it is because something happened recently, something that has taken mainstream media and the attention of everybody here in the country, at least for the next 24 to 48 hours. You know how stories run here in this country, they come and they go. But a decision was leaked of the Supreme Court in their opinions regarding Roe versus Wade. And the way that it looks is that Roe will eventually, sooner much rather than later, be overturned. And there was this big to-do, and it's still happening as of the recording of this video, of many people, specifically, here we go, liberals, coming out and expressing their extreme and ardent dissent. Okay, now the issue of abortion in this Supreme Court opinion leak, it deserves its own discourse, or its own video, and the discourse surrounding it deserves its own commentary, and maybe I'll provide that at some point in the future. But just sticking to the premise of this conversation, the liberals were extremely upset. Even the liberals that are in Congress, in Washington, that have power to do something about this. And the reason why I thought this was so interesting and I wanted to discuss it, and I used Mr. Malcolm as an assistant in this case, is because who was it that's been telling us for quite literally decades, years at the very least, that they were going to do something to codify Roe versus Wade? Who has been telling us that they were going to pass a law or laws that explicitly state that a woman has a right to an abortion? Who has been telling us this? That if we just go to the polls and vote for them, they will do this specific gesture? The liberals. The liberals have been doing this. Yeah, truly living up to that deceitful fox that Mr. Malcolm X so eloquently and beautifully characterized them to be. You know, it's quite beautiful, isn't it? In this country, we have two ruling, extremely corrupt political parties. We have the Democrats and the Republicans. One is a wolf, and the other is a wolf in sheep's clothing. It doesn't take a genius to figure out which is why I won't go to the length of explaining it. Hopefully you can figure it out. And particularly regarding to the one that is the wolf in sheep's clothing, this one, they like to make a lot of false promises, such as, oh yeah, I support a $15 minimum wage. If you elect me, you will have the $15 minimum wage. Well, the guy that said that got elected, and guess what? We didn't get it. Okay, he also made other positive reinforcements towards student loan debt. Okay, that guy got elected. We've seen nothing yet. In fact, they're currently arguing about how much less the student debt should be cut, if anything at all. So, I mean, what Malcolm expressed back then is so extremely prophetic today, and the list goes on with the deceitful nature of the quote-unquote fox of these I mean, incredible liberals who come out and deceive everyone when they have nothing better to offer than their opposition. And I'll close the video out by saying this. Listen, our political leaders, of course, led by their corporate donors, their owners, they're slaves to the special interests, the military-industrial complex, the pharmaceutical industries, the healthcare companies, and the rich people of this country, the corporations, all the rest of them. You know, the Republican Party has done quite a marvelous job, if I do say so myself, at thrusting the working people of this country into mass degradation and neglect, and having them be in such an ever so more precarious position by the day. Now, while that may stand as a matter of fact, what's also a matter of fact, and which is even more important, is the fact that the liberals, the people who run the opposing party, has aided and assisted them in that process every step of the way. And that's what makes them, as Mr. Malcolm X characterized them, the most dangerous thing in the Western Hemisphere.